Thanks for joining us for this week's UND Sports Extra. I'm Alex Heinert. Lots to cover on today's program, including a conversation with UND Volleyball head coach Mark Pryor and a preview of UND women's soccer. But first, we start with the 2016 season opener for Fighting Hawks football. UND on the road in Long Island, taking on Stony Brook University, a rematch of a 2014 contest, a 13-3 victory in that one for North Dakota. Thursday night's rematch would prove to be just as physical and just as close. To Kenneth P. Laval Stadium we go, the site of the start of the campaign for the 19th ranked Fighting Hawks, and Bubba Schweigert opening his third season in charge of North Dakota. After a scoreless first quarter, things would pick up immediately in the second. UND inside Stony Brook territory. On the first play of the quarter, Keaton Sudsrud scrambles, finds Luke Stanley downfield for an 18-yard gain to the Seawolves 16. On the next play, watch John Santiago here, the sophomore All-American, ducks under the first man and then just beats everybody else to the goal line. We're going to take another look here. Santiago had 15 touchdowns last season, and he breaks 3 tackles, 3 of them en route to his first score of this year, 7-0 North Dakota. On the ensuing possession for the hosts, Cole Reyes gets the sophomore quarterback Joe Carbone on the safety blitz, and he gets the trifecta, sack, strip, and recovery. UND in business once again on the Stony Brook 28. But the Seawolves D would step up to the challenge. On a 3rd and 8, Tyrese Beverett knocks the ball out of Sudsrud's hands. Stony Brook would eventually recover here, and then they would embark on an 11-play, 61-yard drive that would end like this. 3rd and goal, Jordan Gowans fumbles right here on his way into the end zone, but Cal Daniels is there to pounce on it to tie things at 7 going into halftime. Opening kick now of the second half, and John Santiago a chance to show why UND uses him in the return game. The Big Sky all-purpose leader from 2015 scampers 49 yards here down the sidelines before getting shoved out of bounds. Fighting Hawks in a great spot to open up the third. 9 plays later at the Stony Brook 17, Sudsrud hits Clive Georges for his 3rd grab of the night. The senior gets down to the 2, but he is stripped on his way to the ground by Beverett. Stony Brook football, and more importantly and unfortunately, Georges would break his leg on the play, an injury that will end his season. More on Clive's status coming up later in the show. Next play after the turnover, though, UND defense responds, and it's Cole Reyes again wrapping up Stacy Bedell in the end zone for the safety. North Dakota back on top at this point, 9-7. After a series of punts, same score as we go to the 4th. UND looking to get Santiago to get things going. He responds with his biggest rush of the day, 17 of his game-high 51 rushing yards here, but the drive would stall. Jaheim Woods comes right up the middle to pick up his 3rd sack of the contest. A punting situation for UND, and right here is where the game changes. Seawolves send the house. Austin Dussault's punt gets smothered. Kai Morgan right there to scoop and score. The 2-point conversion fails, but a huge momentum shift to the home side with just under 9 minutes left. Plenty of time, though, for North Dakota. Sudsrud would go to work. The junior makes something out of nothing here, scrambling for 11 yards to move the chains. And then on 4th and 1 from midfield, he hits fullback Kyle Norberg to keep the drive alive. 2 plays later, Sudsrud buys time again. Right here, hits Stanley, this time for another first down. Again, great feat from the junior quarterback. This, though, would be the final first down of the night for North Dakota. As on 4th and 1 from the Seawolves 24, Brady Oliveira can't find any room up the middle. Stony Brook forces the turnover on downs with 2:14 remaining. Only 1 timeout left for UND, so a turnover needed to extend the game. They nearly get one right here as Dylan Bacher punches the ball out of Stacy Bedell's hands. But as was the case a lot on Thursday night, the ball just happens to bounce Stony Brook's way. Joe Carbone kneels on it, and that would be it. The Seawolves hang on for the 13-9 upset of 19th ranked North Dakota. Not a prolific offensive performance from either side in this one. Stony Brook only puts up 221 yards of total offense, but 177 for the Fighting Hawks, just not enough. The two sides combined for 14 points, 4 turnovers, but the punt block return for the touchdown, the difference as UND falls on the road to open 2016.
we knew what we were coming into. We knew it was going to be a tough fight, and we knew it was going to be a physical team out there. And I kind of feel like we beat ourselves up out there and made a lot of first-game mistakes, which we shouldn't have. But, yeah, it hurts. It hurts a lot.
We're going to look back and fix what needs to get worked on and keep improving on those positives that we had throughout the day. And like Coach Schweigert said, there's a lot of season left.
We just need to get back to work, just focus on Bowling Green, put this one past us, and that's all you can do is just move forward and just work on, watch film, see what we did wrong, and learn from it.
As you can tell in the highlights, safety Cole Reyes had a big night on Long Island, and he was recognized for his efforts by the Big Sky as the conference's Defensive Player of the Week. Junior captain from Schaumburg, Illinois, 8 tackles, including 2 for loss, a sack, a forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, and a safety, all despite missing much of the second half with an injury. Reyes' play and his status for next week, just a few of the topics of discussion we're going to touch on with Bubba Schweigert as the head coach joins us next.
UND Sports Extra on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance.
Welcome back. We're joined now in studio by North Dakota head football coach Bubba Schweigert. And Coach, let's get right into that season opener against Stony Brook. And for this team coming in, we expected a defensive contest, and we got that and more.
Well, we expected the game to be very physical, and it was.
Mm-hmm.
Our guys were prepared for a physical game, and you get in those games and you can get frustrated because it's difficult to move the ball, and we wanted to move the ball better. But defensively, we kept them out of the end zone for a long time, and that really helped our football team. And it's just a back and forth game, and those games, one play is going to make a difference in the outcome, and eventually that's what happened.
Yeah, you talked about your defensive effort. This was a team from UND's side that we expected big things from that side of the football, and they really stepped up to the challenge. I think really Stony Brook only had one sustained drive, really. You 4 sacks, 2 turnovers, did a great job of bottling them up. Pleased with that side of the football?
Yeah, we are. Yet we always look at our performance the day after the game and really analyze it and evaluate it. And we can do better on defense. We missed some opportunities. One time we were unable to keep them pinned in their own end on a 3rd and 20. So all those things are evaluated. But we're really pleased with our effort on both sides of the ball, and our physical effort was good. We just need to be better mentally and need to execute better.
Your 2 defensive captains, Connor O'Brien and Cole Reyes, both individually had pretty outstanding performances. Cole named the Defensive Player of the Week in the conference. He did so only playing really 2 quarters of football. Can you tell us why he was held out in that second half and what his status is moving forward?
Yeah, he just didn't feel well the second half, and it was for precautionary reasons that we held him out. And it was a decision made by medical personnel, and we always got to be played on the safe side, and he's going to be fine moving forward. And we took care of him on Thursday night, and hopefully that keeps him healthy throughout the remainder of the season.
On the offensive side of the football, a bit of a struggle for this team in that first half, especially for Keaton Sudzer. Just felt like he was a little bit out of rhythm. What was Stony Brook doing to disrupt that offense?
Well, they weren't allowing us to run the football. And, for us, like any football team on offense, first down is really important. And we just really had too many 2nd and longs, 3rd and longs, and it's very difficult to execute in those situations against a strong defense as they are. So, we'd like to hit some of those first down throws. We know we can hit those throws, and Keaton knows he can hit those throws. And then executing the running game on first down too, maybe being a little bit more patient and letting the seams open up before we cut it back and those things. But we got to get first down going, and that'll help our football team.
Yeah. Felt like at times their defensive front was able to overcome maybe your front 5 a little bit. How do you want to assess that offensive line performance through that first game?
Well, a lot of new guys, and you never know until the lights go on how we're going to perform, and we need to perform faster and quicker off the ball. We got to throw the punches, and on Thursday night we probably were taking it a little bit more, and I got to give Stony Brook credit. We knew they were going to be strong up front, but our guys got to play better and execute our assignments. And when you feel better about knowing where to go, you can play faster, and that's been a challenge for us right now and been an emphasis this week.
Yeah, entering this season in the punting game, there was kind of a competition for that punting spot. Austin Dussold wins the job. Had a great night for you, averaged over 42 yards of punts, but the one people are going to remember is the one that gets blocked that really swings that game. Talk about what happens in that play.
Well, we always want to win the special teams battle, and up to that point we were winning it with our return game, and we were solid, and we were really happy with the way Austin was kicking the ball. We had a breakdown in protection. We thought our operation time was okay to get that ball off, but we just were seeing so many returns for most of the night.
Right.
And then they came after us with pressure, and we broke down in protection. So you always got to be expecting pressure and protect the punter first before you go cover, and that's got to be a point of emphasis throughout the remainder of the season, because once you get one blocked, they're coming the next week, and for a lot of weeks they're going to be putting pressure on our punt team.
Yeah, the touchdown off that blocked punt ends up being the difference. You fall in that opener 13-9. Still a very close contest. Always tough to lose a game like that. Tougher maybe to lose a player like Clive George is maybe the biggest loss from that first game. Just talk about the kind of guy that Clive is and what the plan is now to replace that production at the wide receiver spot.
Yeah, it was tough. We think he can be a big play guy for us, and we planned on having him be a big play guy, and he was just getting rolling in that game. He made some catches in the first half, but got the ball down to the 2-yard line, and then to lose him for the season, it's hard. It's hard on your football team. It's hard on guys that are his friends. He had a great fall camp and was really playing fast. But we move on. It's part of football, and we got to be able to handle this situation, and we hope to get him back into Grand Forks soon. He's still out there at this time because of the nature of the injury.
That's tough for that young man. For this team, looking ahead, you get another tough test on the road against Bowling Green. That's a Falcon team that got woodshedded a little bit against the national title contender in Ohio State Week 1. But still, it's a defending MAC champions. Tell us about this test coming up for your squad. What kind of tests will they pose?
Well, it creates a different environment for us. It's defending conference champion and a very good football team. We have a lot of respect for what their coaches did with that program, and that coach has got another opportunity, and now they bring in a very capable head coach with the same philosophy and same attack. They're going to go fast. They want to get you tired on defense, and you got to be able to focus and stick with it. And then offensively, we got to find a way to control the ball to keep our defense off the field.
Do you feel like any more confidence for this team knowing you've beaten an FBS team as recently as last season going up against this club?
Well, it's a different attack and a different opponent, but it can't hurt you.
Yeah.
How much it helps us. Our focus really has to be on our preparation, and that's what we got to do a great job of this week. Not just an average job or a good job. We got to have a great week of preparation so we feel good going into Bowling Green against a very good opponent.
Yeah, well, we look forward to seeing you in action again coming up this Saturday. Coach Bubba Schweigert joining us here this morning. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right, we'll see you then.
Best of luck, Coach. Well, coming up next, we shift from football to volleyball. Mark Pryor joins us in studio when UND Sports Extra returns. Welcome back, and joining us now once again in our Midco SN studio, UND head volleyball coach Mark Pryor. And Mark, another busy week in the books, 3 more games for this program. Do you kind of like the craziness of this non-conference schedule? It's wild for you guys.
It is. I don't like it, but we've got to be able to get our dates in. The NCAA allows us 28 days to play, and because of the Big Sky Conference schedule, we can rarely get like a midweek match in because there's so many times we have to leave on a Wednesday to get somewhere for a Thursday match. We've tried to get as much in as possible early on.
You started this past week with a tough 4-set loss against a very motivated South Dakota team down there on their place. We're going to pick things up, though, with you. On Friday, you get to host a UTEP team as we go to the highlights right now. 3 tight sets against University of Texas El Paso, but you prevail in each of them to get your second win of the year.
It's one of those things that UTEP did a couple things. They're in a 6-2. That kind of presents us with some problems a little bit. But we had some good point runs, and our defense is slowly but surely starting to pick up. We knew that was going to be the deal all year, is just getting our defense up to speed, and they were able to do that a little bit better on Friday night.
Big night for Jordan Vale. She puts up a season-high 10 kills, 0 hitting errors. She had a couple maybe up-and-down matches to start the season. It looks like she's really finding her feet.
Well, I think a lot of it is our setters had never set someone like Jordan, ever. So getting the ball in a spot where she's going to be able to go up and go over the block consistently was important for her. She's really kind of starting to feel it, so we're hoping we can start to add some volume to her, and that'll kind of make our offense hopefully a little more potent.
You said post-game this was kind of a poor offensive performance from your team, and the stats reflect that a bit. You hit just 189, but you really cranked up the defense. 59 kills, you outdigged them big time, including this, by the way, this incredible scramble from Faith Dooley we're going to see here in a moment. You don't win that point, but what do you think caused that improvement on the defensive side for you?
Well, I think a lot of it is just kind of some of our kids are just kind of figuring out, hey, we're going to have to just go a little harder consistently. Everyone is going to have to do a little more. And with that, they're starting to get a little more comfortable. And once they get comfortable, then you're going to see a few more of those kind of just ugly hustle plays that, hey, we're just going to fight to get the ball up, and they're doing a pretty good job with it.
Get the win over the Miners there in 3, a double-double for Sydney Griffin, 35 assists, 10 digs, a couple of key runs in that match to get the victory. You roll that into a big game on Saturday. You host a Power 5 school for the second time this season, Texas Tech, the opponent. Another big step for this program, bringing in a Big 12 opponent to the Betty.
You know, it is, and it's one of those things. I've known their head coach for a while, and we used to actually coach each other when we were both at Division II. So It's one of those that he's a good guy, and I was like, hey, why don't you come on up? And he goes, great. I think that with this one, really, this was a lot of self-inflicted pain, I think. We had so many great plays, but then at some very inopportune times, just a little mistake here or there. And against a large school, you just can't do that. So, you know, otherwise, there were some real positives we took away from this match.
Yeah, Faith Dooley, one of them, 14 big kills for your junior. She's playing good volleyball right now, kind of in a new position for her this season.
It is. It's one of those things we were trying to figure out, how are we going to be able to get her the ball more? And she felt really comfortable over there, and one of the things that even their staff said afterward, they were like, we couldn't handle that kid at all. And, you know, Chelsea hit over 300. Jordan had a good hitting night. We just, against a big Power 5 school, we've got to have everybody on. And just, it was one of those nights that not everybody was on that made it a little more difficult for us.
Yeah, Tech would take the first 2 sets. In the third, you're right there. It's 18-17. They just prove a little bit too much down the stretch.
Yeah, a little bit. And I think some of that, you know, once we got done, once we kind of looked at the film, it was, you know, a lot of the kids looked really disappointed because they were seeing, wow, we're right there. So, you know, it's encouraging. We just kind of have to correct a couple things, and we're getting closer.
Yeah, big night for all Big 12 preseason pick Lauren Douglas. Match high 12 kills for her as Texas Tech gets you 3-0 in that one. Looking ahead, things really start to pick up. Your next 9 matches are on the road. You've got 5 coming up this week alone in 3 days. Just talk about the trip that's coming up for you.
Well, we're going to head down and play in Alabama and South Carolina. Getting a chance to play another Power 5 at Clemson. Also get a chance to play against Tulane, and so that's, you know, another larger athletic program. So for us to get a chance to play against some of those schools, it's a great opportunity to kind of, hey, let's continue to test us. Let's continue to try to see if we can get on a roll, start to improving some things, just because conferences get started in about 2 weeks. So we're really looking forward to that.
Yeah, next game for you at the Betty, September 22nd against Southern Utah. It's crazy that that's just around the corner. But first off, hey, safe trip south. We'll talk about it with you next week.
That sounds great.
Big thanks to Mark Pryor, UND head volleyball. From the courts to the pitch, we're going to shift our attention to a preview of UND soccer when UND Sports Extra returns. Make no mistake, UND women's soccer has high hopes for this coming season. Even though Matt Kellogg's crew has yet to finish in the top half of the Big Sky standings, there's optimism that this could be the year that things change.
The season's been going really well for us. You know, again, we had a lot of freshmen last year, and the nice thing is they've turned into sophomores. So they got a little bit more experience under their belt. We have a big group of freshmen again this year, though, and we've switched our system up a little bit. And it's taken us a little while to get things going on the offensive side of things, which is to be expected. It's always going to take a little bit more time. But the defensive side, you know, we've held tight to 2 shutouts to date. You know, a double overtime loss to a regional power like South Dakota State that's usually vying for NCAA tournament bids. So, you know, with such a young team early in the season, I'm really pleased with where we're at.
So far, we're doing pretty good when we stick to the system, because we got a new system this year, and we look really good when we stick towards it. It definitely fits our kind of characteristic and our style of play, but when we kind of go outside of the system, you could probably pick out the games where we did not play our system and the games that we did.
And I think we're playing really well right now. We just have to put the ball in the back of the net, but I think we're playing our system and it's going to come.
We actually get chances, which is great this year, but we got to be able to finish them now once we get out there, execute where we're going with them.
We're creating a lot of chances up top for our attackers, and you know, so early in the season, that's fantastic, and we're now getting to that point where I think we're starting to feel a little bit more pressure. The coaching staff, we're putting a little bit more pressure on the players to now finish those chances. So that's kind of a work in progress right now. Quite honestly, I've been ecstatic with how our goalkeeping has turned around. You know, Olivia Swenson from last year started, I believe, every game. and goes down early with an injury. Catherine Klein, true freshman, steps up big for us. You know, so that's great. And then, quite honestly, our two center backs. Liz McDowell's been doing fantastic leading that group back there. And then redshirt freshman Megan McCabe is filled in quite well in that spot. So we're really tough in the back, and we're creating up top, and we just got to start to finish those. We've talked as a group, and the goal is to make the Big Sky tournament. It's something that this program has never done before, but it's a whole new year for us, and it just builds on itself. That confidence to know that we can take a team to overtime, we can hold a team scoreless, you know, limit multiple goals in a game. That's only going to help us going down the stretch here to conference play.
That's our goal, is to be ready for conference. So I think the games we've played so far are getting us prepared for that.
We're going to make it into conference play, no doubt about it. Playing U of M, I guess that really got our confidence up, but I think this year is definitely, we're making it into the conference for sure.
Thanks to our Marty Mueller for putting that piece together. UND is currently 1-4-1 on the season, though they've hung with some of the best teams in the region, including nationally ranked Minnesota and reigning Summit League Tournament champion South Dakota State. The team hits the road this weekend for matches against Western Illinois on Friday and Illinois State on Saturday. Back in a moment to wrap things up here on UND Sports Extra.
UND Sports Extra on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance.
On Saturday, UND football will head to Ohio, and a date with Bowling Green kickoff set for 2:30 p.m. Central Time. And by the way, 3 FCS teams, including Eastern Washington of the Big Sky, defeated FBS opponents in Week 1. UND, of course, no stranger to success against the upper echelon of college football, a big 24-13 win a season ago against Wyoming. Will that give them a little extra confidence going into this week? We will see. That's it for our time for UND Sports Extra. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Alex Heinert. We'll see you back here next Tuesday night for more UND Sports Extra.